In today's video, we're going to do a walkthrough of a Porsche tech inspection and talk through the maintenance costs of an RS. By the way, see the nice little red car in the background? Hey everybody, this is Andy with RS Xperience, and I'm here at Grass Motorsports Porsche in Louisville, Kentucky, where we're going to walk through the tech inspection on the RS. So typically when you do a tech inspection, we usually do it for the driving events like a HPDE, but sometimes when I go for rides in the mountains, I just want that little extra peace of mind that the car's in top operating condition, so I like to come in and have it checked out. So today I'm here with Brandon Turrell, the service manager of Bluegrass, and Sean. Sean, I don't remember your last name. Collier. And the tech who's going to be performing the inspection. So we'll go ahead and get started here in just a second. I love the underside of these cars, just how flat they are. I mean, look how flat and how smooth that is. I mean, that's pretty wild. And then over here, you can see the extension of the this rocker panel. If you remember, I had pointed out to you guys that the extended rocker panel, how that lengthens the width of the car, which helps with the downforce on the car. And you can see it's pretty significant under the bottom of the car, just how much wider that makes it.
Eight 30 seconds on a new tire.
8:30 seconds on the new tire. So there's a brand new set.
Or 6 millimeters.
Or 6 millimeters. Now we're going to look at the existing tire.
We're at 6:30 seconds or 5 millimeters.
6:30 seconds, 5 millimeters. So is that good, Sean, or are we good?
We're still good, yeah.
Still good. All right, so we have the other tires, so I think we'll leave these on for our trip to the mountains. So this is the brake fluid that we have in the car. Usually, because I do some DE events, I like to put in the other brake fluid. So on the back of this, it talks about what some of the boiling points are of it. So what Sean's going to do is he's going to check to make sure that the brake fluid's still in great condition. So we know the tires are good. We want to check brake fluid, and we're also going to check the brake pad thickness. So there's a new device that Porsche has provided the techs for when they do the brake fluid. So you just dip this end here down inside there to get a temperature reading. So it's heating the fluid. There you go. Fluid okay. There we go. So when it works, that's how you know.
Here's your .3 temp, minimum temp, .4, .5.
And what are those what does that mean when you say like .2, .3?
.4 is what Porsche comes out with,
okay.
And that's your minimum boiling point.
Got it. All right, there we go. So is it good?
Yeah, everything looks good, fluid-wise.
So now we're checking the thickness of the brake pads. There we go. green is good. I take it.
And we're actually at 10 millimeters
We're at good.
on the fronts.
So,
And we've already measured the inner pad, and the inner pad was also 10 millimeters.
okay. Now we're on the rears here. All right.
And we're at 8 millimeters on the rear pad, wearing evenly between front and inner and outer pad.
Okay. 8 millimeters on the rear. And what are they usually at?
These can go up to 12 in the front and usually 10 in the rear, new. So you're getting really good pad life.
Okay, excellent. We have 7,100 miles on the RS and the pads are still looking good. Want to be mindful here of Sean's time. Don't want to take up all his time for the other work he's got to get done today. So we're not going to record like every single aspect of the tech inspection, but we're going to try to hit some of the main things here. So next up, we'll just check, some of the lighting, the horns, and then we'll check the torque on the center lock wheels to make sure that the wheels are locked and good to go. We know the brake pads are good. The rotors, we're not checking the rotors here on this because for the ceramic rotors, it's quite an involved process.
Yes, it's a density test.
A density test. And what is it using?
It's infrared, I believe.
Oh, infrared. That shoots the disc, because for the ceramics, it's a matter of how much stuff is on the rotor or whatever.
Carbon.
The carbon
count, I guess.
Yeah. So we're not going to do that today.
Okay.
So doing the torque on here, these will be set to 600 Newton meters. So Sean's just getting the tool set up and we'll be ready to go here in a second.
And the click is indicating proper torque.
Another click on there. This is probably the easiest thing we have to do. Last thing we want to do is be in the mountains and on the roads there and end up with a loose wheel. That wouldn't be any fun. Perfect. There we go. All four wheels torqued down. Okay, now we're going to check out, just make sure all the horns and the lighting work just fine. Oh, there's the horn. Make sure the signals work okay. The high beams work okay. Backup lights are working. Everything looks like it checks out. So you just check all the indicators inside and make sure everything's working from inside the car?
Correct. Oil level, oil pressure, and oil and coolant temp at operating temperature.
Yeah, because we drove down here, so the car's probably still pretty warm or whatever the case may be. Cool. Okay, so we're starting to wrap it up now. Sean's going to put the cover back on the car. We've done all the last minute kind of checks here to make sure everything is good to go. And the good news is most things that I was concerned about were the tires and the brakes, the pads, the rotors, and everything there is in great shape. So all in all, we're in great shape for a mountain trip here in about, I think, 10 days or so. So stay tuned for videos from that event. We'll have several videos from our trips down in the mountains. back at the dealer, you never know what you'll find. Here's a, looks like a Guards Red GT4. That looks pretty good. Okay, so this is the Gentrin Blue. This is a Spider in Gentrin Blue. All right, so we've just wrapped up the tech inspection. My thanks to Sean for his willingness to allow me, as well as Brandon, to allow me to film that tech inspection. So now I'm here with Brandon, the service manager right here at Bluegrass Porsche. So one of the things about these cars is like the maintenance, there's not a ton you have to do, right?
Not a whole lot.
You know, like at 1 year, there's like an oil change. What do you do at the 1 year?
Of course, do an oil service once a year. Or every 7,500 to 10,000 miles approximately. Of course, depending on how the car's been used.
Right.
Every couple of years, you want to do a brake fluid flush on the car, or more frequently if it's being used as a normal GT3, meaning on the track.
Right.
But yeah, you want to make sure is that you get all the moisture out of the brake fluid, so the boiling point of the brake fluid isn't raised, quite a bit. When you're under heavy braking in these cars, a nice hot day.
And Sean checked that too on the tech inspection. We checked the boiling point of the brake fluid.
Right. Yeah. Or so it's lowered.
So what is that? What is is there a range like? So that first service is like an oil change or whatever. What is it? What does that typically run? Like?
Typically, depending on dealer to dealer, anywhere from about $400 to $600.
Okay.
Depending on what part of the country you're in, of course.
And that's oil and filter.
Oil, filter. Go over the car. Check the fluids on it. Check the fault memories. Of course, check your tires, brakes. Road test the car. And just a good once.
Okay, so it's not just draining the oil and popping a filter in.
Right, and then we reset, of course, the service reminder and everything on the vehicle as well.
When do I have to do spark plugs on this thing?
Spark plugs are going to be about every 12,000 miles on this car, or every couple of years. And that service would be like another oil and filter service. Get spark plugs on that one. Of course, all the checks and balances and everything on the car. And that one's going to run, of course, again, will vary dealer to dealer, anywhere from about $1,300 to $1,600, depending on what part of the country that you're in.
Okay. And then in between, there's really nothing.
Not a whole heck of a lot. Like on the older cars, you had to do valve adjustments. These cars, of course, now have got all self-adjusting valves and that, hydraulic valves, and so we don't do any of that anymore on these cars. But the good news is you get to hop in them and have fun. And you don't spend much time here.
Right. Yeah. And that's one of the amazing things about these cars is anytime you buy a high-end car, sports car, exotic car, it's always part of it is what's the upkeep and the maintenance on the car. And these Porsches, I mean, they're bulletproof. I mean, I drive my car to the track. I kind of beat it up on the track for a few days, and then I just get in the car and I drive it back home, and I really don't worry about like, oh, is it going to make it? Is it going to get there? So the cost of ownership on these things is really quite low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as everyone knows, the price of admission's high, but really the overall maintenance really won't break the bank. Badly, really,
Porsche makes some pretty solid stuff.
Right.
So Brandon, thank you. Thank your
Anytime.
staff for allowing me to come in here and do this.
Anytime.
I appreciate that.
Always welcome.
And hey, if you guys are ever in the Louisville, Kentucky area, do stop by Bluegrass Motorsports. Say hi to these guys. Walk around their showroom. See the different stuff they have inside the shop. They're a great group of folks to work with. So that's all for today from here. So as always, if you like what we're bringing to you, please subscribe, click the like button, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Take care.